The Israeli military is right now on the ground in Lebanon in what Israel is calling a, quote, limited targeted invasion. Those are strikes from the air. Israel maintains that targets inside Lebanon are posing an immediate threat to Israeli communities as justification for this ground invasion. Airstrikes continue after a weekend that saw the elimination of Hezbollah's leader, Hassan Nasrallah, and several other high-ranking members. On Monday, 95 people were killed in Israel airstrikes. That's according to the Lebanese Health Ministry. So joining us this morning from Ottawa on where this move takes us is retired Major General David Fraser, CTV News military expert. Welcome back to the show.
Anne-Marie, good to be with you.
So we had warning that this was coming. We are here today. This is just the latest escalation in almost a year of violence between Israel and Hezbollah. What will an invasion look like, even if it's limited and targeted? Because we saw in Gaza a targeted invasion that threatened communities, according to the Israeli military, also included at times hospitals.
Well, I think the difference this time is that Israel is invading a sovereign nation as opposed to what Gaza was. And secondly is that Israel has got a lot of intelligence on the Hezbollah organization and position, so that I think what we're going to see is Israel taking out all the Hezbollah defensive works in those areas that can fire rockets or drones into Israel around south of the Litani River and that whole region. So it's going to be a much more controlled operation because of what they know is the threat to Israel, and also because it is called Lebanon and it's not Gaza. I mean, it is something quite different. So I think we're going to see something a little bit different, but again, it's going to take weeks, if not months, to get through what they want to achieve here, which is degrading Hezbollah.
Weeks, if not months. Wow. Lebanese officials saying more than 1,000 people already have been killed in the country just in the last 2 weeks. How does this death toll compare to previous conflicts in this region? And when we talk about a ground invasion, what exactly does that look like?
Well, first of all, I mean, you know, Israel has been very clear that they've been evacuating people for weeks. You know, over 60,000 people have gone out of there. Now there's about 1 million displaced people inside of Lebanon. You know, so they're trying to get everybody out of the areas where they want to attack. And they've been consistent about doing that even in Gaza. So that's the first thing. But now that, you know, we've got the ground forces in there, the ground forces are going to go after hard targets of, you know, firing units of Hezbollah, you know, ammunition depots from Hezbollah, the command and control. They're going to do what the air campaign cannot do, is put boots on the ground to make sure that those areas that are a threat to Israel have been destroyed or neutralized to the point they are no longer a threat. And they'll probably push all the way up to the Litani River, which is kind of the zone that is active that Hezbollah uses to prosecute their attacks into Israel.
Another development, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made an appeal to Iranian citizens, claiming his country's tensions were with Hezbollah and not its people. That is being met on the ground in Lebanon with some disbelief. How could we see Iran further become involved in this conflict?
Well, first of all, the Israeli Prime Minister is certainly getting a political boost for this operation, unlike what happened with the 7th of October or the Gaza operations. And so he's got a lot of support. The Israelis are encouraged by what has happened here. So we're going to see some, you know, a lot more emphasis on these operations politically, because they've got a lot of support locally on that. And the real big question right now is that Hezbollah has lost a lot of its command and control capabilities, both the leaders and their means to communicate. With that, you know, the question is, does Iran lean further into this war with their proxies? But Iran fights wars with proxies, and, you know, they don't want a direct fight with Israel. So right now the opportunity and the initiative is with the Israelis, because Iran's going to probably be thinking twice before launching anything against Israel in the short term. And the Prime Minister made it very clear with the message back to Iran is they can, you know, Israel can strike anywhere, and they will if they believe it's in the interest of defending their nation. So I think Iran's going to be quiet for the short term.
Hezbollah, turning to Israel, Hezbollah continued to fire rockets into Israel this week. How do you expect the group to step up its attacks now?
Well, I think, you know, the fire units on the ground, because they are almost essentially leaderless, will be fighting for their own survivals and whatnot. So we'll see some sporadic activities and whatnot. I think the big question is, what is the Israeli strategy mid to long term, and what is going to be Hezbollah's strategy mid to long term to recoup after this devastating attack by Israel that has done so much damage to the organization. But let there be no surprise. Hezbollah is not disappearing. It will come back in some sort of different form, and that's something that all of us should be concerned about, and including what is Iran going to do with a renewed Hezbollah after this is done.
We always appreciate your perspective and your expertise, CTV News military expert, retired Major General David Fraser. Thank you.
Anne-Marie, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.